Chapter 2, Elmer and the Dragon. So what happened last? Let's see. Chapter 1, they were trying to help us recall what happened in the first book. I'm forgetting the name of the first book. My Father's Dragon. So they are on the island. Remember, the dragon flew Elmer for the first time across the sea back to the island of Tangerina. They gathered some tangerines. Did he like the tangerine? If you said no, you're right. He did like the peels of the tangerine, though. So Elmer put quite a few of them in the backpack. Let's see. Oh, yes. 79 tangerines in the backpack for their flight back home. And I don't know if you recall, where he lives is a place called Nevergreen City, and it's near a park called Evergreen Park. And it's on the coast, which is kind of like California has a coast, the ocean. It's on the coast of a place called Porpoise Cornea. So I think they're waking up. They're getting ready to go. Chapter 2, though, has a surprise. Kind of scary. It's called The Storm, or Storm. They flew all morning, high above the endless blue and white waves. Elmer sat feeling the wind on his face, listening to the whirl of the dragon's wings, and watching the compass to make sure they were going in the right direction. Do you remember what direction they needed to follow? North, I think it was northeast, right? Let me go back, see if the seagull was pointing and gave him, remember the seagull used to live by Elmer, and he said, if you go exactly that way, which is northwest, so I was wrong, I think I said northeast. So follow northwest, said the seagull. So that's what they did. I see a rock down there, said the dragon in the late afternoon. Let's rest a bit. Good idea, said Elmer. The dragon circled down to the rock, landing on all 4 feet. Elmer unpacked 11 tangerines, and he ate, and the dragon ate as they watched the sky go from blue to gray, and then to dark gray. It looks like a storm, said Elmer. I think he's getting a little worried. In a minute at the end, we'll subtract 11 from, we might as well do it now. 11 from 69. So 69 take away 11, which you go down. You can write it like this and go down. So 9 take away 1 is 8. And 6 take away 1 is 7. So right now, they have 78 tangerines left to share. Yes, said the dragon. Do you think, so he asked, it looks like a storm. Yes, said the dragon. Do you think we'd better wait here on this rock or go on? Well, if the wind's bad, the waves will wash right over this little rock, said Elmer. But if we keep going, maybe we're going to fly right into the storm. Let's hurry on, said the dragon. And up they flew while the waves grew whiter and wilder. I felt a raindrop, said Elmer. Looking up at the blackening sky. Suddenly a ferocious wind rushed up and from behind them, pushing them forward faster and faster. Thunder crackled all around them, and cold, hard rain beat upon them. "I wish I had my raincoat," yelled Elmer. "I wish it weren't raining," panted the dragon. "My wings are getting heavy, and I can't fly very well. Besides, I hate thunder." The wind blew harder, and the rain was colder. Elmer looked at his compass and started to cry. Through the rumbling storm, "We're going in the wrong direction. I can't help it. The wind is too strong. I can't fight against it," screamed the baby dragon. There they are, trying their hardest to go forward. Does it look like they're going down? Oh. Elmer put away his compass and looked down at the thrashing spray of the ocean. He could hear the dragon breathing really hard, and he watched his wings beat, but they were getting slower and slower. He wondered how long the tired dragon could fight through the crashing storm. I can't go on. I can't go on," puffed the baby dragon. And he sat as they sank through the rain nearer and nearer to the cold ocean water. Elmer shut his eyes. He couldn't look anymore. As Elmer shut his eyes and held on as he couldn't look anymore, trying not to cry or think about his mom and dad. I'm sorry that I couldn't keep my promise," said the baby dragon. "Oh, that's all right. You did your best," said Elmer. Then the dragon sank lower and lower, closer and closer to the water. Splash! "Elmer, we're safe. Somehow I landed on sand," yelled the dragon. "But don't get off, because the water is up to my knees." Elmer opened his eyes and looked around, but it was too dark to see anything. "Are you very uncomfortable?" he screamed above the noise of the storm. "It's not too bad," shrieked the dragon, "but I think the water's getting deeper. Gosh, maybe we're sinking in quicksand." "No, I don't think so. Anyway, where else can we go? I'll just have to wait here. Why don't you take a nap? I can sleep standing up, you know." "A nap? In the middle of the ocean? In the middle of a storm?" "Why not? There's nothing else to do," said the baby dragon. Elmer tried to lay down along the dragon's back, and they were both so tired that they fell asleep while the thunder was booming all around them. I wanted to show you, this is when they first landed and Elmer opened up his eyes. So you can see he's on a sandbar. And I wanted to show you also, remember our map. Remember, this is an island that they don't know about yet called Feather Island. And this is the sandbar that's next to it with a little bit of sand running across. And this is where they landed out here, though, somewhere out here or somewhere on the sand bar, but the water is high, covering up to his knees. Okay. So now let's go back. There's no pictures on the page I was reading. So Elmer lay down along the dragon's back, and they were both so tired that they fell asleep while the thunder boomed all around them. "Elmer, Elmer, my stomach's underwater now," cried the dragon, suddenly waking up about an hour later. Elmer looked around. The storm was nearly over, but all he could see was drizzling rain, and the water was kind of lapping and hitting the baby dragon's tummy. "Poor dragon. I have an idea. Would you like a pink lollipop?" said Elmer, deciding that this was a real emergency. "I'd rather have a hot cup of milkweed milk, but I guess a lollipop would help," said the baby dragon. So Elmer unpacked one for himself and one for the dragon. And he carefully crawled along the dragon's neck until he could put the lollipop into his mouth. It does help a little, shivered the baby dragon. As they were sucking their pink lollipops in the middle of the ocean, the drizzling rain turned into thick, thick fog. And then the water began to get shallower, which means go down. Go down. Shallower is shorter or not as deep. My stomach's out of the water again, announced the dragon cheerfully. I know why the water goes down and up, exclaimed Elmer. Do you guys know why the water goes down and up in an ocean? What is that called when the water goes out and gets shallower or comes back up? You might remember if you're looking to go to the pools. What are those pools called when you go looking for little animals? Yes, the tide pools, or the tide goes out and comes back in. It's the tide, and we're on a sandbar near some island. And just as soon as the fog lifts up, we'll be able to see some kind of land wherever it is, said Elmer. I hope it's dry land, said the dragon. All night, the water got shallower and shallower, and Elmer and the dragon were too excited to sleep. Finally, as the sun came up, even the dragon's feet were out of the water, and the fog began to rise. So this is kind of what it looks like. And Elmer sees the island. That was chapter 2. I hope you're excited to hear chapter 3 tomorrow. Bye, everyone.